Now, one thing that a lot of fans are really looking forward to when it comes to the Star Wars franchise is how we have George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni all working together as a team to deliver as much authentic Star Wars material as possible when it comes to this new Star Wars universe by Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, and more. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that, yes, we do know that they are heading in a more positive direction. This really is something to truly look forward to, given that we have had so many years where Star Wars was just declining and declining due to Kathleen Kennedy's incompetence over at Lucasfilm. Now, 2021 is going to be a very interesting year because that's going to be the year in which we have a post-The Mandalorian Season 2 timeline where we're going to have Jon, George, and Dave working on other projects aside from The Mandalorian Season 3, which, by the way, is still going to be released next year. Season 3 really is going to be a big deal. And I'm sure that you guys saw the Season 2 trailer today. Go ahead and check it out. It looks quite incredible. It looks very much like it's more on a high budget, given that the trailer looks more movie-esque. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars also is that they are really trying to hire new creators. They're trying to hire, better, more suited creators over at Lucasfilm to really handle Star Wars in a more respectful manner. However, Bob Chapek has a lot of tricks up his sleeve to really bring Star Wars in the right direction. After all, Bob Chapek really wants to create his own image, his own legacy of Star Wars. That's what he really wants to do. He wants to essentially make Star Wars like the old expanded universe, except far superior than that. And it's going to take a lot of time and effort to really get to that stage. Now, with that being said, of course, with Kathleen Kennedy now left with little to no creative power over at Lucasfilm, many fans have been very hopeful about the future of the Star Wars franchise and what Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have to offer to the Star Wars fandom. Now, it's explained that currently George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are all working together in order to save the Star Wars brand moving forward. It's explained that one of the big plans by Bob Chapek is to reset or restart many pieces of canon material within the Star Wars sequel trilogy of movies. Now, it's noted that Bob Chapek is allowing George, Jon, and Dave to begin working on the Lucas/JJ cut of the film as soon as early 2021 to start putting it together that will be heavily inspired by the Snyder cut of Justice League. So once again, guys, we have Disney's CEO Bob Chapek very much inspired by what's going on with Justice League. I'm sure that you guys have been aware that the Snyder Cut is going to be released on HBO Max next year in 2021, giving fans a different perspective on that movie. So Chapek is very inspired about that, and he wants to apply that to the sequel trilogy of films, especially The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, apart from this, one of the major plans is to reset Rey's parentage, as well as her connection to Emperor Palpatine, and how that will be re-established in the new Star Wars canon. The reset of the sequel trilogy will also change the death of Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi in a significant way that will be handled by Jon Favreau, with Lucas supervising the revision of the scene. So once again, this is one thing that a lot of fans had issues with, right? Was how Luke Skywalker's death was handled at the very end of The Last Jedi. There were a lot of problems there. A lot of fans had issues there with how Luke was so mistreated by director Rian Johnson. And, at the end of the day, it really was all rooted to Kathleen Kennedy. Like I've said before, when we look at the character of Luke, there could have been so much more potential within Episode 8 than what we got. Moving on. Now, it's noted that one of the key plans by Disney CEO Bob Chapek is to also include tons of original scores by John Williams that went unused in both episodes 8 and 9 that will be applied to the new cut of both The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Further, it's described that Chapek is allowing Lucas and his team to create a brand new backstory for Supreme Leader Snoke and his connection to Emperor Palpatine in Episode 9, where there was an original scene that was going to fully explain the process of how Palpatine made Snoke, and that this will be completed for the new cut of the movie. Lucas made Snoke, and of course that this will be completed for the new cut of the film in a different perspective, of course. Now, Lucas, John, and Dave are already pre-planning the major reset of Rey and Ben Solo, creating the future Skywalkers at the very end of The Rise of Skywalker, where the life force exchange scene will have a strong connection to Rey giving birth to the two new Skywalkers entering into the new Star Wars universe. So once again, guys, in case you guys are unaware, the new universe, which is going to be made up of new TV shows, movies, books, novels, comics, and video games, within there, somewhere, we're going to get two new Skywalkers that are currently dubbed as Zane and Kira Skywalker, and they are going to be connected to both Ben and Rey. This really is a big deal for a number of reasons, because, well, essentially it's going to continue the saga, the Skywalker bloodline, if you will, in a different way, of course. Now, one thing that a lot of fans may have an issue with is how they are going to be connected to Rey Palpatine. You know, she does still have that Palpatine blood, and that is going to be the one thing that they're trying to fix at the very end of Episode 9, where the life force exchange of Ben Solo makes her into a literal Skywalker, pretty much erasing that connection to Palpatine. It's a very interesting retcon that I think a lot of fans might have issues with, but some fans out there may very well accept it. I do for the most part. I think it's a great idea. I think what they're really trying to do here is that they're really just trying to make things right for the fans in the best ways possible. Now, this is best described as chaypek's best way to reunite the Star Wars fans and to make things right for the sequel trilogy, where The Last Jedi's new cut is said to also include more scenes of Luke Skywalker in the form of flashbacks that have to do with his Jedi students and Ben Solo, as well as a full-fledged Han Solo funeral scene that will be inserted into The Last Jedi movie. Chaypek is described to be confident in approaching these new cuts of the films, where The Last Jedi with new scenes is aimed to be roughly 3 hours long, and the new cut of The Rise of Skywalker is aimed to be 4 hours long in length for the fans to experience on Disney Plus sometime at the very end of 2023. Many fans feel that this is too long of a wait, however. The wait is needed since Lucasfilm had many setbacks on other projects due to the global pandemic at hand, and finding the proper new creators to be hired of handling the new Star Wars universe. Kathleen Kennedy will not be a part of these new cuts of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker in any way, shape, or form, where a teaser or the reset of the sequel trilogy is planned to be released sometime in late 2021 next year to give fans a hint of what's to come. So once again, guys, this is Bob Chapek really trying to create a legacy of his own. It's going to take a lot of time and effort for him to do this, without a doubt. If the thing about Bob Chapek, alright, let's go over this because this is a very important piece here in Star Wars history. Bob Chapek was really handed the role of CEO by Bob Iger because Iger really wanted to focus on other aspects of his life and other aspects of business as well. He wanted to depart from Disney. And the global pandemic essentially brought Iger back in. Right now, we technically have two CEOs running Disney, and that's mainly for Iger to take control or to show Chapek the proper way to becoming the CEO that he needs to become, and of course to also fix Disney and to bring it back on its feet when it comes to theme parks, movies, TV shows. I mean, the list goes on there, right? Merchandise, etc. So Iger is not expected to leave Disney completely until Q1 of 2021. It's going to be a little while, but he is going to depart from Star Wars this November to focus more so on Marvel temporarily before he permanently leaves Disney as soon as early next year. So keep that in mind. So Chapek has a lot of work to do on his hands here. He has a lot of, things to deal with George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni. I think that they personally did an amazing job on The Mandalorian Season 2's trailer today. It just tells us, the fans, that things really are shaping up for the franchise and that, well, they really are trying to implement more Force-related material and the Jedi material into the Mandalorian series. So like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.